So this is a bit of a different video than I'm used to making. So this isn't off the cuff. There's no script or anything. This is just me wanting to discuss Deer Days 2, which is coming out in 2 days. Maybe like a day. The end of tomorrow, something like that. It's whatever. And I've been super excited. I wanted to start a discussion. I wanted to get people to go in the comment section being like, hey, I like this. Hey, I don't like this. Hey, I wish this. Hey, I wish that. And, just occupy me until the game comes out. I'm going to get it. I know it's $70. It's a bit of an ask for a card game. Absolutely. And should you get it too? Well, that's not the full extent of this video, but there is a portion in it, and if that's all you're wondering, let me give you the TDLR, because this might be a 30-minute video. If you have the physical card game, there is very little reason for you to get this game. The only reasons that you would want to get this game, or that would be reasonable for you to get this game, is if you want to play the older sets and you don't have all the cards because you don't have all the money in the world, or you just can't get a hold of the older sets. Of course, that's one of the other ones. 2, if you have expendable money that you just do not care, that is also a good reason. Or 3, if there are people that you want to play with, or if you like the set that this is stopping on, which is like top shoujo doji meta, then yeah, those are the only like somewhat good reasons to get it. Other than that, stick to the real card game, because you're gonna need the money. If you're really into the game, you're gonna need the money. Just save it, buy the physicals. You'll have a lot more fun because you're not going to be locked into the set. Now, for those who either haven't played Deer Days or love to play Deer Days but haven't been able to in forever because their card shop is nearby, doesn't have it, or even worse, they don't have a card shop. Now, if that was the reason, then yeah, absolutely. This is a good game to get. This is fantastic, top-notch trading card game material, for sure. That is the TDLR. The pricing point for it is a bit high. $70 is quite a bit an ask, but compared to the first game, it's actually a lot more reasonable, and I will go over that later. But for now, if you don't have the physical card game, and you don't have a way to play it, yeah, absolutely. Definitely worth a buy. This is not a full-on review of what the game is, because the game's not even out yet. But that is how it is. So, let's go ahead and start up something real quick. Okay, so what I wanted to do is, for those who haven't watched the trailer or haven't watched it in a while, I'm going to have it play, and then kind of give my thoughts on some of the stuff. I've already seen it, but it's always good to refresh. So, this is going to be on Nintendo Switch and the Steam. Let me go ahead and pause it, actually. It's already a good time to pause. Please put this on console. There is, like, very little reason not to. I will buy it. And for multiple peoples, I will buy it, just so they'll play it with me. The new layout for the character model things... Oh yeah, they're showing the new characters. New characters looks pretty sick. I like them. Okay. Yep, Divine's characters, because the new sets come up. Okay, so this looks lazy. I hate when they do stuff like this, because they had it right the first time. Why would they change it? This looks garbage now. Although some of the new UI does look way cooler. Over 3,000 sets, and this is where it ends. Lyrical Monasteria. I don't know the name of it, but this is where it ends, and we'll go over this later on basically the differences between Deer Days 1 and 2, and why I think $70 is actually a reasonable price point now. but it definitely wasn't before. Absolutely not. Future cards will also be added through additional content. Alright, that one I'm gonna... yeah. Tutorial where you can learn the rules of Vanguard as you play. I do like that, but I feel like they already had a tutorial, but it just wasn't, like, the best. It's okay. Online function does not have crossplay. It's already an L. It sucks. It's great that you can play with other people across the world and all that, but, like, crossplay, that is where the majority of people are. They're on different places. They're not sitting in the same place all the time. Some people want to play Vanguard on the go, but they want to play against their friend who has a PC only. Alright, new deck boxes look kind of cool. I didn't see anything about deck boxes in the DLC section for cosmetics, but who knows. Enjoy playing however you like it. And that's pretty much it. Releases now in 2 days. Now, for the official site, when you go to it, it shows you a little bit more. Ultimate Evolution and Vanguard. They're basically, the main reason they made this game is because of Divines with the new energy system or whatever it's called. I forgot what it's called. They're only card fight anytime, anywhere with anyone. They got these new deck boxes, which is pretty cool. It gives a little bit more customization, but that's it. It's not even that much. 3,000 playable sets. Let's go ahead and go through that right now. So the first game, it started. Whoop, I was a little too high or too low. Here, and it ended here, which was 7 sets, 7 main sets, and then like 3 side sets, maybe 4. So it was about 10 sets, basically. The side sets, like the festival set and the collector set, whatever, that was... the collector ones were more for getting staples than they were making decks. Main sets are where you make your decks. This one had the older, like, generational cards, the nostalgia bait, in a sense. You had Overlord Blaster, Phantom Blaster. You had all those. These were great sets. They had fantastic stuff inside them. This one had, like, 8 bosses. They had 5 new bosses for each nation, and then the 3 counter cards, I think they called them. But, all in all, it was 10 things, and $70 was asking way too much. I absolutely agree that that was way too much to ask for. There was no reason for it to be that much. But, we assumed it was Fudoyu. Now, if we go over to here, this is the pricing point for Deer Days 2. This is on the Switch. We have the pricing point here, and you'll notice it's also $70 as well. It's the same price as it was back then. $69.99, $69.99. It's not on Steam right now, so otherwise I would just leave it at that. But why are they both the same price? I think it's because they realize that they can't charge any higher. That's one. But I think this is actually a way more reasonable pricing for 2 than it is 1. Because 1 stopped here, it stopped here, and then it did DLC. DLC was $65. DLC was 1, 2, 3 sets, and then a deck. One single Stride deck. $15 for that Stride deck I paid. Quite a bit for one deck that wasn't physical. Now that's the real money harder right there. It wasn't even something you could hold on to. It wasn't something you could grasp. Physical players could have probably bought the deck for $15. There was no reason for the Stride decks to be $15. $5, maybe $10. Is very scraping the edge. But this should not have been a volume set that was worth $65. You did not put enough in here to justify that price. That was way too much. It doesn't matter if the cards were better or anything like that. Absolutely not. This was not worth the pricing. There was not enough boss units to be added. You had the Lyrical Monasteria set, which was only for Lyrical Monasteria. That's one. And then you had 2 main sets. Both of these, if I remember, supported the same deck twice. Not enough. Absolutely. Best set. Hands down. Minerva. Absolutely. Best set. I believe this one introduced Shoujo Doji. It introduced Minerva, which was... Whew, yeah. I had Maelstrom as well. And Lukier. Oof. Also. Oof. Right? Anyways, so the next one was Bump, and then another Stride deck. $65. Twice. $65 twice. Want to know how much the costing of all this DLC, if it was all together? $560. $560 for all of it. Now, let's take out the mini stuff, like the stuff you don't need. Sleeves, we could add. We don't need sleeves, but they're things you can't get in the game. So let's add sleeves. Character sleeves, you can't get them in the game. Sleeves, $10 each. There's 40. That's 40 right there. That's just for sleeves. Sleeves should not cost this much. Sleeves are a customization decoration. Doesn't matter how many there are. $2. $3. $2 to $3. $10? Absolutely not. You are insane. Too much for sleeves. Too much for digital sleeves. Absolutely. Minerva Rising itself was $20. Each of these sets, the volume sets, were $20. That is way too much. Now, did Bushiroad learn? Did Bushiroad, was it Furyu who did these pricings? Well, let's think about this. If the set with DLC, which would have counted to $180, let's just round up to $200, stopped here, then the $70 seems like nothing. Especially if it just stopped here. $70 for all that makes it seem like a bargain. Only makes it seem like one. Now, if you think about this, Vanguard Dear Days 2 goes from here, the beginning, right here where it started, all the way down to here. Right here. That is 2, 4, 6, 8. And that is 8 sets after where the DLC stopped. That is quite a bit of stuff. This boosts the more fun 5 cards that were in the counter card decks for Overlord, Blaster, blah, blah, blah. This one has more cards for the Metaphys, like the big boss units, the really cool stuff. And then Flight of Checkerbirth, you could finally finish a lot of other things. I think Bob Saraga got her Verena version of Trick Moon. And then you had this kind of cool little Lyrical Monastery set. But not just that. The reason there's a new mechanic in the game is these 4 sets right here. And it's only 4 sets, though. It's unfortunate because I was hoping it would stop here. If it would have stopped here, this game would be top down. Doesn't matter if you have the physical card game already, definitely. Because this would allow you to test the games for the next month. Because the next one doesn't come out until February 28th. But they didn't stop it here. They stopped it up here. So there are 2 sets behind right now. Just for now. Soon they're going to be 3 sets behind. So hopefully the volume cards that they add in will change that, but we will see. But other than that, 8 plus whatever this was, it's like 20 something, and then if you add in the little extra booster sets, like the festival sets and all that, it's like 27 decks, or 27 boosters. That's a lot of stuff. That's $70 worth of stuff, actually. I believe that this is a lot more reasonable pricing point since they kept it at 70. Now, the big thing is this right here. The additional card unlock pass, basically known as the season pass. This is garbage. I think. First, before we discuss the DLC stuff, let's discuss this. Why? Why would you even have the gall to basically say, hey, buy this plus the season pass? Yeah, it's just a measly $130. What were you going to use that money for? Food? Yeah, right. Come on. No, you do not do this. This is not a positive thing to see. This is not a positive thing to see. Unless, and this is a big unless, because I don't see this ever happening, but there are two reasons that this would be okay. Some might disagree with this. Say that Volume Pass came with, say, the main set, like it did before, plus a mini set, like a festival or a third drive or something like that, one of those, and maybe a second set. Yeah, just give us a second set. Yeah, the first DLC, 2 sets, side set. That's one. That's a lot more reasonable, right? That seems pretty good, because they were charging $20 before. If you were going to go buy what it was for Dear Days 1, it's $10 each per pack, basically. So you're already charging them $20 per DLC booster pack. So 2 sets, $10 each. Does that sound so hard? Does that sound unreasonable? No? And a little small thing. Yeah, a festival pack or something. Just something. Sleeves. I don't care. Well, actually, you already got the sleeves in there, so I don't know. Now, there is one other thing. The second thing is regarding this. Vintage fights. Oof, I am excited for this. What is this? Have you ever played the game from when it first started in 2011? What? You haven't? When did you start the game? That far? Well, I guess you never had the chance, did you? What if I told you Dear Days 2 gives you that chance to play the first 8 sets that ever released? You see this dashing young lad on a horse? That is the original King of Knights, Arthur. I believe that was his name. And so this was the first set. He was the chase card back then. This game came out and that was a chase card. Heck, in Vanguard V format, he was the chase card. He was who you went after because he had such good stuff, because it was all we had at the beginning. And that's what we get to try. The 2011 version of Vanguard. And that's what I love. Now, this is what I'm asking for. I think the volume card sets collections, if they're not going to give us 2 main sets, I can deal with it as long, and this is a big as long, as they keep supporting this vintage set. It's not like they don't have the capabilities to. They absolutely do. They put in the first Bermuda Triangle booster set on the side, which only had Bermuda Triangle, so it didn't even count as a main set. And they stopped it right here, the Eclipse of Illusionary Shadows. This is basically where the main sets for the Vintage Fight stops, right here. You got a lot of stuff for Vintage Fight to go through. You don't have every clan that was released yet, because not every clan was released during this point. I think Nubatama was one that was not fully released around this point. Link Joker did not exist. Genesis did not exist. There's quite a few things that were not in the game at the time. But that's the point. This is from the beginning. And I think if you're going to do these DLC season sets or whatever like that, if you're going to charge that price, support this. Keep going down the list. Just keep going. You see all this? This is all money right here. This is every money thing you can choose from. Like, this would probably be, in all honesty, the final thing y'all do. if y'all stop the vintage cards. But maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe. Do you get it? Just maybe? Because I started here. This is, well, actually, I think I started here. No, I started here. I started here. And then this set came out recently afterwards. I got this, and then I got, like, the Chase Minerva card, which me and my friend both split in for, and we sold it for, like, $130 or something like that. So we halved the money. Oh, I wanted to keep it, too. I looked at it, I'm like, that's such a good ability, but I had to do the responsible thing and half my money for something so expensive. It was such a good pool, too. But this is also where I got Shiranui Renee. This is where I started. I never got to play this. And I want to play these. And then Zero came out, and I played it. But it wasn't the same. So, them bringing in vintage fights, I don't want them to not support this. So, if they do the card volume, agree, disagree, this is my thoughts. Use the card season pass thing to support vintage fights. Do not forget about this. This is an important thing for people to just come back to, because vintage fights is another way to play Vanguard inside of Vanguard. A lot of people do not like Overdress for its mechanics of the overtrigger, for its mechanics of how the shields work, of how the persona writing. There's a lot of people who have their gripes about something about Overdress. But when it comes to the older sets, people just reminisce. I mean, yeah, people have problems with this too. But this is why they have gripes. They want to go back. They want to play the older version. They don't want to play the Overdress. And so you should support the vintage. The vintage is where you will get a lot more money if you put them in the volume sets for sure. Guaranteed. Guarantee you. Absolutely. You have a lot of things you can go through. You don't have to give us just the one set and disappoint everybody who's playing the game. You can give us 2, or you can give us 3. That is my idea on it. Now, the other thing, because this is so expensive, is regarding... Whoops. This is regarding this right here. This is an important thing to discuss. Complete playset 1 to 8. If you don't know what this is downloadable content that the Switch shows, but will be later on Steam. If you buy any of these complete playsets, and this is just for all of them, you get a copy of every card. Max copy of every card in that set, including the rarities, I'm assuming. This is concerning because this is more like they probably will not transfer over saves. All the cards you earned in Dear Days 1 may be gone to loss. And that's unfortunate. This shows that, too. It's expensive, and these would seem like a good pricing point for it. $6, sure. I honestly think $3 probably is better. But at the same time, this is just to reduce the grind. But they really need to bring over cross-save for this, because a lot of people collected cards. We farmed like crazy, and you're going to basically make a new game where we don't get to keep those cards. Makes it seem like it was a full-on waste. Cross-save progression. Just give us our cards back. You're being too greedy if you don't give us our cards back, and you're basically like, oh, $49.99. You can have it all back if you just pay the $50. No, I'm not paying anything. I have a grinding method. And if you remove that grinding method, I will not be playing this game very long. Because I am not grinding CPUs to the dust. CPUs are boring to fight. They're the main thing I fight, but people will not grind CPUs just to collect every card in the game. Not very many will, anyways. It's important that you have cross-save progression for this. This is detrimental. Alright, now for something that is kind of The story. The story has new characters. The story has new story. The characters have story. And voice actors. I don't care for the story. I don't care. Characters look great, though. She kind of reminds me of her now. Yeah. These guys look cool. They're basically the same person, I'm assuming. They had different names, but I think they're really just the same person. There's no way you can tell me they're not. Look, that freaking hairband gone upwards, pulling his hair back, probably has green eyes, goes in red. He's probably the evil version of him or something. I don't know. You got the Divines, and then you got the Will Dress, and then you have the Dear Days characters, which is great. But something's missing. Something's not right regarding this. Can you spot it? Those who haven't watched the show don't know what I'm talking about, but those who do, those who have seen it, know that there's someone missing within these characters. These two are missing. And don't go, oh, they did not do a card fight. Yes, they did. They absolutely did. And why are they not here? They absolutely need to be in these character things. They need to be on sleeves. They're not my most favorite characters, but they are characters, and I will not ignore them. They are really important to the story, and you can't just throw them to the side just because. Come on. Actually, even worse. Yeah, even worse. Where's the main villains? Why don't we have the other character models? The one with the astrologian or Ultimate guy. What was its name? Oh, I can't remember. It was the Dark States one that was about fortune telling. I can't remember the name right now. Almagister? I don't know. Something like that. The bear one, the other one, where you could be the bear. Grandeur. Yeah, that one, I think. There's so many guys here, and there's so many not here, and it's so annoying. Like, you only have the heroes. Like, people want to have the villains on here. Yeah, he counts as a villain, whatever. But, like, why just heroes? The only other villain is this dude. 2 villains. Why can't we have villain character arts? Like, what the heck is this? Alright. And so, my whole idea, this is something that could be considered an L take or whatever. This is my personal thoughts regarding on how the game should have been handled. Even though it's not out, I know it's not going to have this because Dear Days did not have this on the first one. I feel like there should be a lock system. Not like Link Joker, no. Lock on sets when you're going through the story, because it makes it feel less important to go through the story if you have the cards from the future set just watching everything. I feel like the story should lock future sets, and as you go through, you unlock more sets as if time was passing and you know the new set is out and all that. I feel like that would be a lot more enjoyable in the story mode if you could basically make it so it's set oriented, like everything from set BTD11 down or something like that. I just think that would be more enjoyable, because unlocking stuff, or most games don't have unlocking things anymore, and it sucks because you don't get the what is it? You don't feel accomplished whenever the things are. If everything's just handed to you, how are you gonna feel accomplished when you unlock the new stuff? Sure, the grind, and people hate grinding and stuff, but I'm saying this just for the story set, not for like online or anything. You can still do it online, but like going through the story, I feel like you should have it locked and then you unlock throughout. I feel like that would be more enjoyable when you're going through the story. That's just my opinion. You kind of give up your own, and we can discuss that. But other than that, I'm getting Deer Days 2. Depending on how they do the season pass, I might get that as well. I'm excited for this, and I was hoping that people would discuss this further. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and let's see what y'all got to say. Have a good day, night, evening. Either one's fine.